Poison ivy is a nasty plant. The oil gets on your skin and you start to scratch and you start to itch.
Blisters.
Yeah, you get all kinds of
Do you get poison ivy bad?
I have never gotten it.
What?
I don't go into
I'm smart enough not to go into it. Aren't you the greatest? But there are some people that don't get it.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, there's some people that they're just somehow there's a resistance. My son Carl gets it really bad.
Oh, yes.
And he just keeps going back for more.
Yeah.
You know, and he had it this year again.
Yeah.
And like I can tell, like when all of a sudden the peroxide and all that other stuff is coming out from where in the medicine cabinet.
I couldn't figure where I was getting it. I was actually getting it from my dog when we lived in North Jersey.
Oh yeah,
yeah. My dog was out there all the way in the back, and that's where he does his business. Sometimes he puts his, and he would come in the house and track it, and the oils would get on. Like, and I'm like, I'm not out in grass regularly,
right?
This is before I was working as armed guard. Right, like, you would catch me out in the grass. Right?
Look at you now. You've come so far. But you haven't gotten poison ivy from going in the grass now.
No.
But your dog carried the oils on it.
He brought it
and spread it around.
It was everywhere in the house, somehow. We had a carpet, like a little small rug, like a mat rug that when you first comes in, it catches for your shoes and all that stuff. We lay our stuff down there on the floor, and the dog will sit down there and wait for us to get done. And I actually remember rubbing on, when I reached over, I remember rubbing my knee, and I got up, and 3 days later, my whole side of my knee was like red and itchy. And it wasn't instant. I thought, where would I have gone to get it? And only other thing that I could see was the dog, because he's all the way out in back of the property.
It can. Surprise, though. But most of the time, it's that if you see it, and again, that leaves of 3, let it be, that's poison ivy. The best way to control it at the time of year is in winter, because the leaves aren't as active. But you still have to basically get your flannel on, get your long rose cutting gloves, and that you cut it at the base close to the ground, and get rid of the vine in a plastic bag to keep it from spreading, and then wash everything, clothes, arms, everything. But in the growing season, that there's something that's called sucker punch. Well, you have that in front of you. If you look on do you have sucker punch with you, or do you have just a poison ivy control? Now, that, Julio, do me a favor. While I'm talking, you see, I believe that you could put on the lawn, and it will not kill the grass, but it will kill the ivy. There are several different types.
Yeah, it won't harm the lawn at all.
Right. So if you have it near the lawn or anything else,
it'll be fine.
It's a selective herbicide, and it will control it. But you've got to spray it enough so that it's the point where it rolls the active ingredient rolls off the leaf, because it's got to stick to that leaf and then work. And there are several types of poison ivy control, brush control, and that I don't know. I'm an always, do it once, then hit it again later on, so you get it right down to the root. You don't want to just kill the leaves. And it's really something that you need to be diligent on. It's a menace. It's a menace, especially anybody who has little kids. You want to get that taken care of right away. There are other non-traditional ways to get rid of poison ivy. Like they have a propane-fired weed control where it actually just burns it. I can remember on the farm that we had a weird thing like that. It was it scared the crap out of me. I wouldn't touch it, because it's like all of a sudden you figure like you're that World War II scene where you're all on fire from Saving Private Ryan. Oh my God. But so I was like, and I'm just going to spray it. Yeah. I'm going to spray it. I'm not going to get involved with some thing that's going to burn it. But again, it's well controlled by these methods, and it also controls different types of climbing vines. Like for instance, poison oak, for instance, it will take care of. kudzu it'll take care of, and like all of those vines that are just out of control. Some of the wisterias it'll take care of, and that like I wisteria has gotten obnoxiously
it's bad
in my yard. It's grown within my forsythia, and I blame my neighbor
for that.
Yeah, for that. But that's another show. Where he decided to thin out the forsythia.
Oh,
and where it was planted like on a zigzag, he took the one zig out and took half of them out and wanted to transplant these great big plants on the other side of his yard. But that opened up the sunlight so that now all of these vines and things that all of a sudden just went crazy because they were getting light.
Sure. All these things.
You know, like we were talking with Arthur about how like cutting the grass, having the grass where it's tall enough to where it blocks the sunlight and stops the weeds. That's a perfect example of how it was controlling the invasive insect, invasive weed. Anyway, spray it, but spray it twice. Don't do it just once. So you're going to spray it once and then to go back the following week. It should kill it back to the ground. If you are daring and want to do it in the winter when it goes dormant, that is certainly one way to do it. I am not convinced that it won't come up from the roots. You can pull it out. That's why my son has it. He's pulled it out. Yeah, and that it's funny. He'll pull it out somewhere else, but he won't pull it out at my house. Yeah. Thanks, Carl. Anyway, but again, poison ivy sprays do work. It works when they're actively growing. Like this winter method that we talked about, they are not going to be. They're not going to work when the temperatures are, say, below 45, and the plants are dormant. It's got to have foliage growth on it. So, sucker punch, poison ivy control. Again, those both are going to work for you.